Right now at 10, a new coordination allowing police officers to tap into local school surveillance cameras, how they say it could help in the event of an emergency. And an overnight crime spree. Vandals target everything from cars to buildings to city-owned property. Now police are asking for help. Plus, a dramatic hit-and-run crash captured on video, how it played out, and what we know about those involved. Straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Local law enforcement agencies are working with school districts around the area to tap in to live feeds of school surveillance cameras in emergency situations. Jamie Perez visited the Middleton Cross Plains School District today to show us how it works and how the system is keeping your kids safe at school.
When you drop your kids off at school, you want to make sure that they're safe. Part of that safety is knowing who's coming into your schools and where exactly they're going. You may have been aware of surveillance cameras on school grounds, but in the case of an emergency like a fire or an active shooter, law enforcement can tap into a live feed of the cameras so they know exactly what they're walking into.
Our video system is tied directly to the Middleton Police Department.
Jim Blodgett is the Director of Technology Services for the Middleton Cross Plains School District. He says this extra tool they have available for law enforcement to use helps with accountability, conflicting information from 911 callers, or misinformation that comes from any source.
We have roughly 400 cameras district-wide. They can access all of them at any time.
This $400,000 system ensures that law enforcement knows exactly what they're dealing with when responding to an emergency, and it helps them respond faster by narrowing their locations.
This system really helps the dispatcher direct those first responders to the spot where they need to be quickly.
Police can also access this through a mobile app.
DAC right now, so we can see all of our cameras. And then if we wanted to zoom in on a camera, we can see what's going on in a live view, but then we can also look at what was going on previously.
Blodgett also says police cannot just look at these cameras whenever they want.
A memorandum of understanding that details how they're allowed to use our camera system and when they can be in it.
And Middleton isn't the only school district where this is happening. Monona, Mount Horeb, and DeForest all said they do this as well. Stoughton and Madison said this is not something they currently do, while Sun Prairie, Verona, Fitchburg, Wanakee, Cottage Grove, McFarland, and Oregon all didn't get back to me with an answer. While there hasn't been an explicit need for these cameras just yet, Blodgett knows it's better to have this system in place in case there ever is.
But they also help students understand the importance of law enforcement and how law enforcement can really help them also.
And on top of all of this, the Middleton School District is also working on developing a high-resolution grid map to allow law enforcement and first responders to see where all of their AED kits are, where emergency shutoffs and chemical rooms are in case of any type of emergency. And they need to know exactly where to find things.
Jamie, thank you. New at 10, the UW has suspended the Sigma Chi fraternity for serving alcohol while on probation. According to the Badger Herald, the suspension means Sigma Chi cannot hold any activities or events and cannot operate as a registered student organization. The suspension will remain in effect until January of 2020 or until the fraternity elects a new executive board. A 62-year-old man in the hospital with life-threatening injuries tonight after a driver crashed into a bus stop. This was on Milwaukee's north side this morning, and then the driver took off. Surveillance captured the crash there at the intersection of 51st and Capitol. The driver, who was identified as a 20-year-old Milwaukee man, fled the scene but was taken into custody by police a short time later. A young boy killed this morning in a crash with a garbage truck has not yet been identified. It happened in Sheboygan. Investigators say the truck was making a right turn when it collided with a 9-year-old who was on a bicycle. They believe the child was on his way to school. The State Patrol now conducting an investigation because it was a city-owned vehicle involved. In Kenosha County, a pickup truck rear-ends a school bus this morning while it was stopped to pick up a student. It happened in the town of Randall. This was about 7:30. Authorities say the school bus had its stop arm out. Warning lights were on. Investigators say inattentive driving was a factor here. No one reported any injuries on the scene, but 2 students did later receive some treatment for minor injuries. The driver of the pickup, a 44-year-old man, also sustained some minor injuries. Well, our stretch of nice weather will be coming to an end soon. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield now with our first alert forecast. Dave?
Yeah, changes, they are coming, Eric. That is for sure. While we will be mild tomorrow once again, we won't see much in the way of sunshine. Mostly cloudy skies with some showers and thunderstorms on the way for our Thursday. Some showers and storms off to the west across portions of Iowa. Those are tracking northeasterly, so I don't think we're going to see anything in the way of rain tonight in Madison. Also, that batch of showers is weakening, so really not going to affect much of the area, maybe southwestern Wisconsin, over the next few hours. Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam looking at cloudy skies. Temperatures have dipped into the upper 50s in Madison and in Janesville. Still in the 60s, though, closer to Prairie du Chien and Boscobel. Those wind speeds out of the south and east at about 10 miles per hour. We will be breezy tomorrow and into this weekend as that strong low pressure system gets closer. Temperatures should make it close to 70 degrees once again tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies. Showers possible later in the day. We'll track the weekend wild weather in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Dave, thank you. Police in Watertown want your help finding the people who went on a vandalism spree last night. Amy Reed joins us now to show us what the vandals did and the warning that victims are giving people. Amy?
There are at least 12 spots in Watertown these people hit. Some spots they smashed windows, others they spray painted signs and cars. These people we talked to hope whoever did this doesn't do it again, but if they do, they'll be ready.
There's a bunch of the glass that's left that I haven't cleaned up yet, but it's all up in there still, and it's all over everything up in here still.
Kevin Steinmetz is still picking up the mess vandals left last night. Where that glass was, he's replaced with a plastic bag. He's also updated his security.
And I'm gonna tune them up as soon as it's dark. And we talked about getting a dog again and more guns. This is crazy.
Whoever left this for Kevin didn't appear to take much, if anything, but they made other stops along the way. A marked up for sale sign on Western Ave and the not meant for TV FUB on the storage units on Station Street. Also out front of Neil Larson's place.
Yeah, I've put my first share of scratches in it, but never had anybody else put any for me, but they did it yesterday.
His wife found the key marks on his 20-year-old Dodge pickup, the one he hopes to pass to his son.
It's not right. I mean, if you got a problem with somebody, why take it out on innocent people?
And then all the other ones are more towards the southeast.
Watertown police have kept track of all the calls. They think this is the work of kids, something they say is becoming more common. But they need your help to prove who did it.
Look at the list that we put out there. If you live in the area, take a look at your video and see if you have anything that may help us solve this.
But the people on the other end of the crime, like Kevin, don't worry if this will happen again.
The police officer that I talked to this morning said somebody's going to get shot, and I said hopefully it's the bad guys.
At least he doesn't worry for himself.
Yeah, I'm loading more than one gun and a crossbow.
We have a list of the areas that were hit by these vandals on our website. Take a look if you know anything, or like Captain Olson said, if you have any security footage, let them know.
Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you. Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. set to face sex abuse charges in court tomorrow. They stem from a 29-year-old woman who says the Oscar-winning actor groped her at a bar in Manhattan in June. He's facing 2 misdemeanor charges. Gooding denies the charges and says he has a video recording that will clear his name. The trial was originally scheduled to begin last month, but it was delayed at the request of prosecutors. A family vacationing at a popular destination down in South Carolina makes a discovery worth more than $500,000 over the weekend. This is on Fripp Island. That's a little ways north of Hilton Head. The family says they found a large object washed up in the sand underneath the moonlight. At first, they thought it was an animal, but after bringing it inside, the family says they opened it up to find 20 kilos of cocaine, a street value about 600 grand. The Drug Enforcement Administration now trying to find the origin and how it ended up on Fripp Island. The Dane County Board has approved a change to the name of Lake Monona's Squaw Bay. Members of the Ho-Chunk Nation find the term offensive, some saying it refers to a female's genitalia, though they're considering changing it to Wickawak, which translates to muskrat, which celebrates the Ho-Chunk's rich history of trapping. A Hard Rock Casino in Rockford, a step closer now to reality. The Rock River Times reporting the city council voted unanimously to send a proposal to the Illinois Gaming Board in order to build it. The application review process is expected to take about 9 months. Construction is expected to take between 1.5 years to 2 years to complete. Demolition on Janesville's Moose Lodge underway as of today. Back in early part of this year, the lodge was forced to sell its building after defaulting on its mortgage. The new owner, Blackhawk Community Credit Union, plans to make the site its new headquarters following a complete teardown. The Wisconsin Humane Society rescues 65 cats from a Green Bay home with deplorable conditions. In a post online, the Humane Society said nearly every surface of the home was covered in urine and feces. The original report said there were 20 to 30 cats when officials got there. They found more than 5 dozen. All of them were successfully removed from the home and are now being cared for at the Green Bay campus. Former President George H.W. Bush's service dog, Sully, recently received a 2019 ASPCA Humane Award. The Yellow Lab earned the Public Service Award, which the organization says was given for, quote, bringing not just assistance, but love and joy to the former president in the final months of his life. Sully served as Mr. Bush's service dog from June of 2018 until the former president's passing in November of last year. Madison College has started a new food pantry for its students. The 4 regional campuses in Watertown, Portage, Reedsburg, and Fort Atkinson also have food pantries that are open to students. They offer healthy food choices that students can prepare at home. The college says any student with a valid student ID who is enrolled in at least 1 degree credit hour course can access the Truax campus food pantry.
About a year and a half ago, Madison College's Student Senate did a survey of our students, and they found that 37% of our students were food insecure, which means that they can go a day or more without food because they're saving that money to pay for tuition and books and bus passes and transportation and things like that.
Students can take up to 10 pounds of food 1 time per week for free. The student pantry is open Tuesdays from noon to 2 and Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Still ahead tonight, an early snowstorm hits the northern plains as we get ready for some pretty big changes ourselves. When we come back, our complete forecast for the rest of the week as our stretch of nice weather will be coming to an end. Stay with us. Turkish forces are bombarding territory held by America's Kurdish allies in northern Syria. President Trump called the Turkish offensive a, quote, bad idea just days after his administration pulled back U.S. troops from the border. President Trump has faced strong bipartisan opposition to that pullout. Critics worry the move exposes the Kurds, a key U.S. ally in the fight against ISIS. A senior U.S. official tells CBS News that Kurdish operations against ISIS are now effectively paused.
We are not giving Turkey a green light in Congress, and we're not going to abandon the Kurds. If the president does so, we won't.
In an interview with the PBS NewsHour, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo downplayed the concern, saying he's confident the U.S. will be able to protect the American people from any terrorist threat. President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden battling over impeachment. Today, Biden announced he now supports impeachment proceedings in Congress. CBS News has learned the whistleblower whose complaint triggered the inquiry is a registered Democrat with a prior working relationship with a current 2020 Democratic presidential contender. The whistleblower's attorney, however, responded on Twitter saying his client is a career civil servant who has never worked for any political candidate, campaign, or party. Former Congressman Sean Duffy's 9th child is still in the hospital tonight, a week after it was born. Duffy's wife, Rachel Campos Duffy, posted on Facebook that their daughter, Valentina, was born with 2 holes in her heart that will require open heart surgery in 3 or 4 months. The local newspaper, the Wausau Daily Herald, reports that Campos Duffy says the girl also has Down syndrome. An unusual situation in California right now. Up to 1 million people could have their power cut. The state's largest power supplier, Pacific Gas and Electric, is trying to prevent its wires from sparking wildfires. The forecast calls for high winds and dry heat. It is a desperate attempt to avoid what happened last November when sparks from power lines ignited the fires that ripped through the town of Paradise, killing 86 people. In a different part of the country, a different story. An early season snowstorm making its way across the northern plains. In Montana, snowfall amounts for Billings are still expected to be about 6 to 10 inches. Livingston could see 10 to 14 inches of snow. Temperatures will continue to stay in the 20s tonight and into tomorrow. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joining us now as we prepare for a bit of a cool down for us for the weekend.
Yeah, the snow will stay to our north and west, so I guess that's some good news for now, but we will be talking about cooler temperatures on the way and breezy conditions. Look at what is on the way. Temperatures, you can see so clearly where that cold front is. International Falls at 65, Bismarck, North Dakota at 34, into the 20s in portions of eastern Montana. So this cold air, while it will lose some of its potency, is on the way to southern Wisconsin, knocking our high temperatures this weekend into the 40s and lows in the 30s. So we could be talking about frost this weekend. But we have to factor in that wind from this powerful low pressure system, so it could feel like the 20s at times, especially during the morning hours this weekend. On Doppler track, we noticed that some snow showers associated with that closer to the center of that low pressure system across portions of the Dakotas. We have some showers and thunderstorms moving across Iowa. Those are tracking to the north-northeast, so I think they're going to avoid a lot of southern Wisconsin, and they are weakening as they move to the north and east. But southwestern Wisconsin could pick up a few showers over the next few hours or so. Rain chances for Madison, though, they start to go up during the afternoon and evening on Thursday, so we'll want to have the umbrella ready to go by that point, and then expect to get wet for portions of Friday with showers and thunderstorms possible of the scattered variety. Temperatures on Friday are going on a roller coaster, that's for sure. Starting off in the 60s, by the time we get to Friday Night Football, we're already dipping into the 30s. So here's a live look in Madison at cloudy skies. Today's high, 70 degrees. We did have a fair amount of sunshine early in the day, helping get back to the 70s. So about 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. Speaking of normal, normally we talk about our first frost of the season across southern Wisconsin in the first few weeks of October, and we're still in that time frame. So we're really basically right on schedule when it comes to these colder lows forming across southern Wisconsin, specifically in Madison. We're talking lows in the mid-30s for Friday, Saturday, and upper 30s on Sunday. We do move back into the 40s for overnight temperatures as we head into next week. So we could be talking about our first frost of the season in spots like Madison. Now, places north of us have already seen those temperatures dip into the 30s this October. Overnight, no 30s or 40s. In fact, we'll be in the low 50s, becoming mostly cloudy, staying mild with the clouds around. Then for tomorrow, we're near 70 degrees, mostly cloudy with showers and thunderstorms possible, especially during the afternoon and evening hours. So again, I think that batch of showers really not going to make an impact on southern or southwestern Wisconsin. Into tomorrow, a few showers and thunderstorms can't be ruled out, with temperatures staying mild, but we won't have the the sunshine around. Then into tomorrow, or into Friday, I should say, we will have the chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially right along that front. And watch what happens to the temperatures as that front comes through. We're starting off in the 60s and boom, very quickly through the 50s into the 40s, and we clear out Friday night, and that will allow those temperatures to dip well into the mid-30s. Could feel like the 20s with that wind chill. Another half an inch of rain out of the question for some of us. And as I mentioned, wind chills to start off Saturday and Sunday morning are feeling a lot colder than they are right now, that's for sure. So dramatic changes on the way. 7 to 10 day forecast. We're looking at temperatures slowly starting to recover into next week with mainly quiet weather showing up for now. We'll be back into the 50s by Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe touching the 60s by the time we get to next weekend. But it does look like, especially in the near term, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
A little chilly for the weekend. All the alums coming back for homecoming might want to pack some extra gear. But hey, we've been blessed this week so far. It's been unseasonably nice. It's been above average temps.
Yeah, with temperatures about 10 degrees above normal, but this weekend about 15 degrees below where we should be.
It all comes to an end.
Exactly.
It always does. Dave, thank you. Badger volleyball team putting its top 10 ranking on the line. They were at Northwestern tonight. We'll have the highlights coming up in sports.
The Badger volleyball team is ranked 7th in the country and figured to have a pretty easy time in its match at Northwestern tonight. Wisconsin coming in 4-0 in the Big Ten. The Wildcats 0-4, and the match played out pretty much like you'd expect. National Player of the Week, Sydney Hilly, had 42 assists. This one to Dana Redke, who got her 1,000th kill as a Badger in just 2.5 seasons. The Badgers hit 380 as a team tonight, and Molly Hagerter led them with 11 kills. Took only about an hour and a half. Final score, Wisconsin 3, Northwestern nothing. The Badgers' next match is Sunday at the Fieldhouse against 8th-ranked Minnesota. The 5th and final game of the Badger football team's current homestand is Saturday when Wisconsin hosts Michigan State at 2:30. The Wisconsin defense is on a historic pace. With 3 shutouts in its first 5 games, the Badgers are ranked at or near the top in most every defensive statistic in the country, including first in total defense and scoring defense. Last year, the Badgers' defense struggled at times, but this year, Jim Leonard's crew has been spot on.
The energy, you know, guys are flying around. They're feeding off of each other, and just a high play speed and physicality. I think last year there was times we just lacked that physicality. I think there was more guys at times trying to be right and not doing it the right way. And right now guys are just letting it loose and playing off of each other, and whether it's the linebackers or DBs, and we're making a lot of impact in making plays in the backfield that we didn't do last year.
The Milwaukee Bucks have their preseason home opener tonight against the Utah Jazz at Fiserv Forum. They start a lot of their stars in front of the home crowd, and like MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, took him less than a minute to create a spectacular highlight. He played 21 minutes, had 22 points, 11 rebounds in a preseason game. A couple of new Bucks made their mark early. Wesley Matthews figures to contribute from the outside. So does Kyle Korver. There's Korver hitting for 3, and here comes Wesley for his 3. Wasn't very close. Final score tonight, Bucks 133, Jazz 99. And the Bucks showed off their alternate new uniform design today. It's the Nike Statement Edition Fear the Deer uniforms. They'll wear them on opening night of the regular season against Houston. 16 other times during the NBA season. Those stripes are called the Cream City Rainbow. You can buy your own starting October 20th. Prep Mania High School Football Game of the Week is 5-2 Middleton at 5-2 Sun Prairie. We're live on channel3000.com. Friday night at 7 from Ashley Field in Sun Prairie. Baseball playoffs, Game 5, National League Division Series. St. Louis at Atlanta. The Cardinals hit the Braves with 10 runs in the first inning, and they did it without hitting a home run. That tied a playoff record with 10 runs in any inning. That puts the Central Division champion Cardinals into the National League Championship Series beginning Friday. Those Cardinals will play the winner of Game 5 of the other NLDS right now in the 7th. Dodgers lead the Nationals 3-1. And we'll be right back.
Dave Caulfield rejoins us. Final check of the forecast.
Yeah, cloudy skies tonight. I don't think we'll have to worry about any rain showers, even though we are seeing those showers and a few thunderstorms across portions of Iowa. Those are weakening as they move north and also tracking to the north-northeast, so really not going to affect much of southern Wisconsin, maybe closer to La Crosse and Eau Claire. Tonight, becoming mostly cloudy and milder with temperatures right around 50 degrees to start off our Thursday, and then we're still mild for tomorrow, but we do have the chance of showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures are dropping quickly on Friday from the 60s in the morning into the 30s at night, and we're chilly this weekend with some showers possible Saturday.
Things are changing.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10. Have a great night.